Welcome, welcome to the Marketplace Real Estate segment. I'm Nancy Alert for the Alert Factor, and I am the Alert Factor. I am also joined with Anthony Meeks today. Anthony,
Hey Nancy, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Looking fabulous. What's going on?
Thank you.
This is one of my favorite segment of the marketplace. I don't know why, but real estate is something I just, like most people, I guess, fascinated about.
Yes. Because
So
real estate is interesting. Real estate, I mean, you gotta have it. Whether you're renting or you own, you have to have it. You know.
there's something about as human as it's as human as anything else, right? Breathing, hearing, speaking.
Right.
You got to have shelter, right? You got to have some
Right.
place to be able to a habitat, if you will, that you can live,
Hmm.
right? And
Yep.
so, whether you are, no matter what part of the planet you're on, your home is your castle,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And so I think when people think about, that's why they put so much into. I think they said it is the single largest big ticket item when it comes to one's personal investment.
Well, it
Uh,
is for most people. For most people, this is the largest investment they're going to make in their lives. For most people, that's what it is. Your the property you purchase, your residence to live in. It is the single most important and largest purchase.
yeah, yeah, and also wealth, right? That's where most Americans have their wealth stored, right? When they
And
want.
if you use it correctly, yes, you can definitely create wealth with your real estate because that's what it's there for. I don't think most people, when they think about the American dream, is to own a home, to purchase a home, so I can be part of that American dream, right? I own my home, but a lot of people don't go to the next level and think of it as an asset, a true asset that you can leverage to create wealth.
Yeah, you know, and I'm going to enjoy today's featured topic because it's going to we're going to sort of uh, move away from the traditional brick and mortar, right? What we know
Mhm.
as physical real estate, right? And we're
Yes.
going to venture into this new world of, if you will, virtual reality, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
only not only the physical asset, but we're also
Right.
talking about how people transact, how they
Right.
pay for that asset, right? And I know you're all excited about, the possibility of this new virtual real estate space, and so I'm
Yes.
really excited to hear what
Yes.
you have to say in terms of, buying physical brick and mortar and buying virtual real estate and the digital currency that it's going to help facilitate that process. So if we can, let's go to before we get into that subject matter, let's go to the first Bloomberg real estate report, and then we can circle back on that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
This is your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. If you're thinking of buying a second home, you might want to do it fast because starting soon it's going to cost more because of a fee the Federal Housing Finance Agency is charging.
The fee ranges from 1% to 4%, depending on how much you're borrowing. But as an example, if you are purchasing a $400,000 home, it will add about $13,500 to the total cost of the mortgage.
Daryl Fairweather, chief economist at Redfin, says this does give people trying to buy first homes a little bit of an edge over those buying second homes. And
There's reason to believe that second home purchases might be reflective of some bubble stuff happening.
the second home market, red hot at pandemic peak, it's showing some signs of cooling off a bit slightly lately as mortgage rates inch higher. But demand for homes in vacation areas is still sky high as people try to live in those areas year round instead of just owning second homes there. And that's your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini.
So Nancy, I'm as a novice, and you're the expert. What's the purpose of that extra fee if you're going to buy a second home? Is that what what's the
So
goal?
Here's the thing. I'm not even sure why everyone is making such a big, huge deal about this. It has always been if you're purchasing an investment property or a second home, the interest rates were always a little higher and you did pay points. That's what it is. It's points you're paying to acquire the loan, whether it's a discount point or just origination points. It's points you're paying to get the loan. A point is equal to 1% of the loan amount. So, if you have an $800,000 loan and you're paying 1% just to get that loan, plus another 1% discount point for get an interest rate lower than the normal for a second home, then you're looking at $16,000, right? I think
Right,
that's what
right,
you're looking at,
right.
$16,000 in
Uh-huh.
addition to your down payment and your closing costs. It's the last couple of years, there have been no points because interest rates have been so ridiculously low. There were no points being charged. But in order for us, because of inflation, and in order for us to stabilize the market and not raise the interest rate so significantly high, hence the points. So the points, you pay them once up front, so you're not paying it for 30 years in the loan with a higher interest rate.
But they're talking about, you heard it as much as I have. It's going up as high as 4%.
Yeah, and I'm not going to that bank. I'm just letting you know. So whatever bank it is or mortgage company that is charging 4 points to acquire a loan, you can keep your money. There are too
Well,
many
second
other
home. So
options.
let's make sure we
Yeah,
make it very clear.
no, I
Not a
understand for the
first home, not
second
the
home.
primary second home. Second
It's
home.
not the primary of the second home, but that's why these are the United States that we live in. We have choices, right? We have many different lenders, mortgage, private banks, credit unions, what have you. If one person is charging 4 points, I guarantee you somebody else is charging 1, 2, and 3. Do your research.
So okay, so it's not as though you're going to have a uniform fee that
Right.
everybody's going to, no matter who you are, it's going to be the same points no matter where you go.
That
It's
is
going to.
correct.
Okay,
It's not a uniform fee.
right.
Actually, nothing in real estate is usually uniform. The commission is not uniform. The interest rate is not uniform because it's based on your credit score and things like that. But the origination fee, the points for the origination fee or the points for the discount, it depends on the mortgage company or the credit union or the bank that you're going to. There will be differences. So do research. If somebody is charging you 4 points for you to acquire your second home, call a realtor, do some research, and see if you can find a bank that is not paying that much. Perfect example, and this was a primary residence. My client that I'm in process with right now, he's settling on the 5th of April. He had chosen one lender and they wanted to charge him 2 points. And he was like, no. So he went to a different lender and he's being charged a third, what was it, 0.75%. So there are choices.
It's funny because when you in the mortgage closing process, right? There's the
Mm-hmm.
real estate transaction fees, and then there's the mortgage transaction fees.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hearing is that points are always associated with the closing of the loan.
Mm-hmm.
And it will vary and fluctuate, depends on who you're doing the transaction with. But you're saying it has always been there. It's not something, this is not a new, this is not a new phenomenon. It's always been there. It's not a
Exactly.
new fee.
Exactly. It's not brand new. It's just maybe the people that are talking about it are brand new to the industry because we haven't had it. And I want to say there weren't points being charged for maybe about 8, 10 years. I haven't heard about someone charging a point except when you're in the commercial realm, right? The commercial
Okay.
realm, there's always a point, several points, okay? Especially if you're talking about hard money, there's always going to be points. But in residential, whether it's first primary residence or whether it's a second home, we've had points all along. It's just that the last couple of years, no one was charging any points. The interest rates were so low, and I'm assuming that's the reason they weren't charging points. I don't know, but they weren't. But all of a sudden, the feds raised the interest rate, but also they did not want to raise it again higher. So therefore, the points were added.
Yeah, I would think, and again, I'm just speaking as a novice, that the best time to charge point is when the interest rate's low, because you can afford to tack on the additional fees because it's so competitive. It's so the rates are so low. You don't want to add more points when the rates are high. Then it becomes too cost
That's
prohibitive.
because we're logical thinking people, Anthony. Anthony, we're logical thinking people, and I'm thinking the same thing. Well, yeah, the interest rates are low, and so they can balance off with I'm paying a low monthly payment, so I can come up front with this money because it's upfront money. You have to pay it upfront, at settlement. So, but the thing is, I just want to drive this home. It is not standardized as far as the amount of the points. It differs from company to company.
Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to focus on the topic of hand in terms of this new, if you will, trend of how technology is literally transforming everything, and that includes real estate. So we'll be right back.
This is your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Well, some say the work at the office genie is never going back in the bottle.
So from our work with IDC Research, 70% of all companies will be hybrid by 2025.
Peter Miskovich is a managing director of innovation consulting JLL.
90% of all companies will invest in the smart workplace, and 70% of all companies will have a work from anywhere strategy.
And how about the office space that does remain, that does survive?
We're moving from a world where work was designed around the office and around location to where work is being designed around the individual.
Jennifer Janis, president at Pop House Design, says your employer will need to design it for what she calls a peak experience.
So it really has to be better than what you get at home to draw you out of your house.
And that's your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. This is your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. You might soon be able to pay the rent using crypto, especially if you have a short-term rental from Airbnb.
It is the most requested feature on Airbnb.
Brian Chesky is co-founder and CEO of Airbnb.
So we're absolutely looking into it. I think it could be potentially really compelling because we're in 220 countries and regions. Not every country has modern, robust banking systems like the United States. So that potentially is a really compelling thing is to be able to pay with crypto. We're looking at it.
And if you're looking to make big bucks renting out your place on Airbnb or another short-term rental platform, you might try doing it in Miami. Compare the Market says Miami is one of the most expensive Airbnb markets in the nation. Vegas and Honolulu also rank, along with Orlando and Tel Aviv. San Francisco, New York, Hong Kong, London, and Los Angeles also on the top 10 most expensive places to rent on Airbnb. And that's your Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pelly.
All right, we're back, and thank you so much for tuning into the Marketplace Real Estate segment. This segment is with Nancy Alert, the Alert Factor. And we, just before the break, we were talking about what is being considered a fee or new fee, which is really not new, only applicable to the second home market, not your primary residence. And as a way to, I guess, I see it as a way to kind of cool the market down, if you will.
Yes.
Charging an extra fee that people are gonna, say, well, I really don't want to pay that. So, but maybe it won't work. I don't know. But I think what we want to transition to now, Nancy, is, and before we get into the residential, you heard that report about office space now, the new landscape of office space, commercial space. 70%, 7% of employers are going to build or design office around the workers as opposed to the other way around. Because the workplace has changed so much, they're now approaching how they create this new environment, this new atmosphere on how flex work can operate. Then you have 90% of these companies making that investment, and now making that investment to make that change. Mm-hmm. And so those are some significant numbers, and that's because technology once again has been a major force in the disruption because of the pandemic, but now it's now changing the culture of work and that work environment. And here we are now. One of the reports we talked about was, the metaverse, creating virtual properties in a virtual environment. And then here the report we just spoke about, cryptocurrency. People are now going to use cryptocurrency to transact, whether it's to purchase or to pay their rent. Where are we going with all this? I mean, I know you're fascinated by this, but I can't help but wonder, how is this going to impact the real estate sector?
We have to be prepared.
Are you going to have a job?
Yes. So here's the thing, what people fail to realize. Real estate is a contact sport. It really is a contact sport. It is a touch, right? It's a touch. So yes, technology is going to improve it. It might remove some things, but it will never remove the real estate agent.
Really? Okay.
No, because it really is. So it's like you can buy everything right now from Amazon, but I still want to go and touch the fabric, right? I still want to try the shoes on, because even though it says it's a 9.5, it may not fit because of the way it's made or the type of manufacturer or what have you. So even though you have Amazon there, you still have brick and mortar stores for people like me that still want to go into the store, touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny because as I'm listening to you, the touchy-feely thing, that there are foreign buyers, international buyers, or just not necessarily, but people who are buying real estate, period. It doesn't have to be foreign or international. Mm-hmm. It could be done just domestically. Buying real estate not on site.
I bought, Anthony.
They've off-site.
I bought two of my investment properties sight unseen. I bought a property in Chicago at 10 Ontario Place, which is right downtown on the 38th floor. And I bought it with pictures and videos. I went with the ROI. I went with the numbers, because remember, it's an investment property. It's not emotional, right? So I bought it sight unseen. The numbers work. I saw what it said. I saw it the day of settlement. I flew to Chicago because I at least wanted to see it once. I flew to Chicago. I didn't have to go to Chicago to settle. I could have done it right here where I am. But I flew to Chicago. I saw it. I'm like, yeah, good. Okay, I'm on the top. Okay, I like it. And that was that. I did the same thing with a 2-bedroom condo on the beach at Carolina Beach in North Carolina. I bought it sight unseen. So I've sold properties. I sold a property to an NFL player wife, and with pictures. I didn't even have videos. It was pictures I sent to her, and she, because that's when it was pictures, and she bought it sight unseen. I've had clients from Egypt that I send them videos of properties, the scenery, everything, and they bought it. So
And
that's
so
not unusual.
no, it's not. It's not. But let's admit that is probably the exception, not the rule,
True,
right?
true.
Most people, I'm not picking on any particular age group, right? Let me make what I say this is I'm not picking on anybody, but I would think that the demographics, right, speaks to issue of geographic, race, income class, culture, all of these things. I'm sure people who would either buy sight unseen, right, or
You
they
missed something.
what?
I would say education.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. There you go. Sorry about that. How can we leave out education? So basically, the traditionalists, they're not going to buy something because it's such an important transaction. It's such a big investment. They're not. I'm going to go and venture to say most people, the majority, are not going to want to buy
Right.
a real estate sight unseen.
And when I say education, I want to clarify, I don't mean that you have a master's or a PhD. I mean education in the process, right? Education in it's information, knowing where you want to live and trusting the person on the other side. This is why it's important to choose your agent wisely, because you're trusting that person on that end, right, to give you what you can't see. But now with the technology, here's the thing: you don't even have to trust my words. All of my listings, they have fabulous photos, right? And they have a 3D Matterport. A 3D Matterport is like you actually walking through the property, every room. You can see the baseboards, you can see the what do you call it? Whatever. You can see everything. It's like you are there. So if you trust the process and you're doing this, you too can buy sight unseen.
And this is where this is where it's like I set you up. It's not, I didn't set you up, but it's like I brought you to this point that this is where I really see technology having value, where people are going to more likely embrace the idea of doing purchase sight unseen, because the metaverse, the virtual technology, will take them into that space. You can literally create a model that mimics the physical, right? And you're able to go into this metaverse, right? This virtual environment and tour the property, right? Right now we're doing photographs. Right now we're doing video. I think it seems to where we're going now. We're going into this virtual world where you can literally tour a property and not physically be there, but you can be there but not be there.
We're definitely there, because every property I have listed, it has pictures, it has a virtual tour, it has a 3D Matterport, and it has floor plans. So you can truly, because I am advertising to the world, right? Because I don't know where my buyer's coming from. They may be coming from outside the country. They may be coming from another state.
That's right.
I want you to have everything you can possibly.
And you want no impediments. You want no impediments. You want no impediments to the transaction, right?
Exactly. You see it, and then you don't even need to come. You come because you want to. But when I put a listing in, you have everything to make a decision.
There you go. Well, Nancy, we're out of time. That was great. It's I can't wait for your 1 hour show. A half hour is just,
I can't wait.
It just it goes by really quickly, but
it does.
We hope that some of the information that we provides some, insight as to where things are, where we are, and where things are going. And of course, the Nancy Alert, obviously on the real estate marketplace, the alert factor is going to be a gem, a wealth of information, an expert. She's very successful in her market and in other markets where she's licensed, but her knowledge base, she teaches real estate. So she's an educator, not just, a person who sells real estate, but she teaches it as well. So she has a wealth of knowledge. Listen, it has been real great. Thank you so much, Nancy. Until
Thank
next
you,
week,
Anthony.
can't wait to talk next week.
All right.
All right. Have a good day, folks. Coming up next is the Coaxum Report on the other side with Terry Coaxum. We'll be right back.